whose claim, and it depends, remember, it depends who's making that claim. We talked a lot about claims. We said if I'm a tire manufacturer, I'm not going to say my tires get less than 40,000 miles. I want to say my tires are greater than or equal to 40,000 or get more than 40,000. If I'm the person testing it and I don't think they did, I'm the person that says less than 40,000. You have to see who's stating this claim. They don't want to say something bad about their things. They always want to beef it up a little bit. So remember that your null statement, first you write your claim. Your null statement is the one with the equal sign. Your alternate statement is not. I gave you the thing with all the pairs in it. And we do a test, a tail test, by your alternate one. So as we go through this, and we talked a little bit yesterday about your p-values, we set a level of significance. This guy is your level of significance. It's the opposite of your confidence level. So if your confidence level is 95, your level of significance is 0.05. It looks like a little fish. A lot of kids write it as an A. You can write it as an A, but it kind of looks like this. If you just go like this, it looks like a fish. It's an alpha, but it looks like when you write it like a fish. So we generally use 0.05, 0.01, 0.10. These are the ones that we usually will use. We test our p-value against our level of significance. Now, I gave you that chart. Make sure you use it. If you switch this up and you test your level of significance and you use the same greater than or equal sign, but they're switched around, you get the opposite result. So it's got to look like this when you test. Okay? We have to set this up when you test. So the first time through, we're going to use this chart. All we're going to do is test this. Easiest way is set up p-val, level of significance. We're going to start like this. Do a couple on your note page so that you get the hang of this. So your p-val for a hypothesis test, and remember your p-val is an area under the curve. This is where we make your curve and we make your tail test. Somewhere this is where we put your tail test. We didn't do the tail test yet. We're just looking at the p-value. So we put our p-val here, and we put our level of significance here. So if your level of significance is 0.05, now watch this trick. It's very hard when you don't do this. Fill this with zeros to be as many spaces as that one, and drop the decimal. Which number is larger, 500 or 237? 500. So it's going to go like this. Now when we use a less than, I missed the thing when I turned it, but it's less than or equal to. So you are going to take your chart and you're going to say if p-val is less than or equal to the level of significance, here's your decision. Your decision is reject HO. I don't know what HO is. I don't know what HA is. All right now we're doing is how do we test this when we do find this? Because we will be finding this. Now, they changed the level of significance. I'm still p-val, level of significance. So my p-val is still the same, and my level of significance is this. That has 4 spaces. Keep your decimal points. 4 spaces here. What number is larger, 237 or 100? 237. So this is greater than. The greater than does not get the equal sign. Your decision, if p-val is greater than the level of significance, is fail to reject H0. Okay, right now we're just showing you how to test. The next step is we're going to actually do the test and figure out where we get that number from. And then you'll know how to test it. So they kind of break this down into step by step. I noticed a lot of you on your proportions. If p is equal to 14%, how do I write that as a decimal? 0.14. You can't give me this. P is equal to 14. That says you have a proportion that's 14 to 1. You have no proportion that's 14 to 1. It's 14 over 100. So some of you don't get the concept of changing a percent to a decimal. Don't lose your decimals on this. Watch those decimals. Fill them to the rate you can fill with zeros to make them match up. So we did those guys. Here, you guys try this. You try this one. I want to see everybody work. Take a look at this. So I got my p-val to my level of significance. Your p-val, 0.0745. What should I do with the 0.5? Add 2 zeros. So what's my inequality sign going to look like? Greater than. I say, drop your decimal. 745 greater than 500. I refer to my chart. If my p-val is greater than my level of significance, my decision is fail to reject HO. You have to say it like this. You can't say just reject, don't reject HO. Make sure you say fail to reject HO. Okay, again, p-val, level of significance, same p-val. So Nick, what's your decision this time?
Reject.
Reject, because which way does your inequality go? Less than or equal to. And you're going to tell me reject what? It's got to say reject HO. You have two statements, HO and HA. So you've got to tell me which one. Okay? Now, we're going to move on to how do I find this p-val. So finding a p-val. Finding a p-val for a left tail test, area in the tail. It's the area under your curve. Finding your area for a right tail test, it's the area in the right tail. Finding your area for a two-tail test, remember your two-tail is you're not equal to? You have two equal tails out there. You just find the left-hand side one. It's always area to the left when you look it up, and you just multiply that area by 2. You're going to take this and you're going to multiply it by 2. And then we're going to test that. That's your p-val. Your p-val is the area under a curve. What do you think P stands for if I'm dealing with my curve? Proportion. What's another word? Probability. It's the probability of that happening. The probability, didn't we determine that the probability is the area under your curve? Right? So it's the probability that that will happen. So, let's see what they give us here. Find the p-val for a left tail hypothesis test. So I'm going to make a curve. My left tail, all you do is just like shade in a little portion of your left tail. And your z-score is negative 2.23. I need to find the p-val this time. So now we're backing up a step. We just tested your p-val. Now we say, where did you get that p-val? So now they're giving us a z-score. So what do you think our next step is after this? Calculate my z-score. How did you find that z-score? I think the book should have did it the opposite way, but this is the way the book does it, so I kind of follow along with it. So now, we're given a z-score. We need to locate the area under the curve, and we know how to do that. How do you find the area under your curve? No inverse. What table? What table, Jerry? Table 4. Look in table 4. You all have that somewhere in your notebooks, or you're shoved into your backpack or whatever, or the back of your book. I think like age 16 or something. 17. On the calculator, you have to do second. Whoops. You have to do normal, normal CDF, but you have to say your lower area, you're going from negative 999. Your upper area is negative 2.23. You're going to keep the 0 and 1, and you're going to paste. That will give you your area under your curve without your table. Otherwise, A16, A17 has your table. I find it easier to look up the area in the table. That's just me. And I do like the calculators, but I do find it easier. Round it. Round it to 4 decimal places. What do we call this area? Eval. So now they gave us a z-score. We found our p-val, so we're going to test p-val against level of significance. And what is my level of significance? 0.01. So is 129 greater or less than 100? Greater than. So the greater than doesn't get the equal sign. Follow your chart. When your p-val is greater than your level of significance, what is your decision? HO. It will be wrong if you don't say HO. You have to give me the HO in this. If you don't tell me HO, then you could be rejecting HA. There's 2 statements you come up with. You could be rejecting the claim. The claim is not always your HO. So you need to tell me what you're doing here. So let's have you try one. You're going to find the p-val for a left-handed hypothesis test. I don't care if you use your book or you use your calculator. You're going to find the p-val for that, and you're going to test it against a level of significance of 0.05. And you're going to give me your decision. Let me give you a pass, Marissa. I think it's closed up here. And I do hear commotion out there. Okay, so who has a decision? Will, what's your decision? So how far did you get? So what did you do with negative 1.71? No, this is your z-score. Area. So look it up in your table. And what'd you get? You do in your book. A16. A16 in your book. You didn't even have your book open. What are you working on? How's that possible? This is in your book. I want you to do this with me. So, you guys were telling him 0.0436. Okay, fill this with zeros. Less than or equal. What's your decision? Reject HO. Okay? Now, how would this be different than a right-tailed test? If I did a right-tailed test, and I told you my z-score was positive 1.71, what is different? The sign. So how would I find the area for positive 1.71? Yeah, you would find this you have a few ways. You can find this in your table at positive 1.71, and you're going to 1 minus your area, right? Or, another way, Look this up the negative way. Isn't this symmetric? So I can also look up the negative one and find the same area that this would be, because all I want is this area. And then I would test it against my p-val, my level of significance. Make sense? All we're doing is going back to the way we were before. Area to the left all the time.
If it was to the right, would the side be...
That's not going to change. When you look this up, what do you find for 1.71 in your table? Whatever it is you find, you're going to subtract this from there, and you're going to get 0.0436.
So no matter what you have to decide, it's going to be less than or equal to?
The same thing, less than or equal to or greater than. Your area can never be negative. Your level of significance will never be negative either. Your z-score can, but not your area. Now, your two-tail test works a little bit differently. Your two-tail test says you must have had a decision where something was equal, and your HA says not equal. Something is not equal to, let's make the mean not equal to something. So you had a two-tail test. Okay? It has a z-score of 2.14. So what's this z-score down here? Negative 2.14. So what we need to do is find this area. So we look this up. You can look up the negative 2.14. And we're going to just multiply it by 2 because it's the same area on the other side. So they found their area to be 0.0162. And same area exists over here, doesn't it? Because it's two tails, two equal tails. So the easier way to do this is just take this and multiply it by 2. You have 2 chances of getting this. So it increases yours for a little bit. So it's 0.0324. This is your p-val now. You're going to test the same way, p-val against level of significance. And you're going to test it against your level of significance. If it fails at the 5, what will it do at the 1? Well, let me put it this way. If it's greater than or equal to, because I want it to fail to reject. If it's greater than or equal to at the 5, what will it do at the 0.01? It will still be failed, right? It will still be greater than or equal to, right? So it'll still be failed to reject H0. So what's the decision for this? What's your inequality? Less than or equal to, so what's your decision? Reject HO. So does everybody see what we did with the two-tail test? Just look up the negative one, take that area, multiply it by 2.
So we give you the positive,
Well, sometimes they'll give you the positive, sometimes they'll give you the negative, but because it's symmetric, well, that's the easiest to look up in your table. Because if you use the positive, you have to subtract it from 1, which is what the book does. But why go through subtracting it from 1 when you can just look up the negative, right? Use the rule of symmetry here. I think it works easier. So you guys try it through. Try it through. I want to see everybody doing this. Okay, so they gave you the z-score. What's this z-score down here? Same one but negative. So now what do I need to do? Find the area. So find the area to the left. What's that area? To the left of negative 1.64. 0505. That's this area. That's this area also, isn't it? So doesn't it make sense to add them together? With a shortcut, just multiply it by 2. So this is now your p-val. You get 2 chances at this, so you double it. You double your chances. So you test p-val to level of significance. And your level of significance is 0.10. That's very close, isn't it? Fill your zeros. Which number's larger? The 1, the p-val. So there's my greater than. So what's your decision? Good. So the next step is how to get that Z-score. We're going to find your Z-score. And then we're going to continue. Oh, find your Z-score, find your area, test your p-val. So today, and you're going to have to snapshot your page if you want to and finish this for homework. You should be able to do some of these. Here's what I want you to do before you come back here on Thursday.